Today I'll share my literacy in weaving. This is a long process, so let's go ahead and get started. The warping board is a wooden frame approximately 1 yard in width. We use it to determine how long and wide the final product will end up when we are done weaving. Each trip the yarn makes from one side of the warping board to the other is approximately 1 yard. Here I'm winding 4 yards, keeping in mind that there will be about 1 yard of loom waste. My final weave will be about 3 yards long. Before taking the yarn off the warping board, I'll securely tie the warp. This prevents the yarn from becoming tangled on the way to the loom. Using my arm as a giant crochet hook, I further protect my newly wound warp from tangling. I'll be using a jack-style floor loom. These are the treadles. They're attached to the bottom of the harness by strong, thin pieces of rope. Stepping on a treadle then will lift the strings that are attached to the corresponding harness. I've attached my warp to the back beam of the loom, and I'm using 2 parallel sticks called least sticks to keep the strings in order. It is now safe for me to remove my securing strings. To keep my 4 yards of warp manageable, I comb it and I use the handle on the back beam to roll it around itself and out of the way. I learned the process of dressing a loom and weaving a year ago from the fibers instructor in the art department. Until recently, the only other weavers I knew were from this class. I'll stop rolling the warp back when the loose end just reaches the front of the loom. These are the heddles. Each string goes through its own heddle, which I pull through using the heddle hook. The heddles are held in place by the harnesses. Right now I'm evenly distributing my warp on each of the first 4 harnesses. I'm now the instructional assistant for the weaving class in the art department. I'm constantly teaching people basic skills and giving troubleshooting advice on the looms. In order to become literate in an area of interest, it's important to learn to solve problems on your own, even if you've never encountered the issue before. The least sticks have served their purpose of keeping the strings in order. The heddles are doing that now. I can now remove the least sticks from the loom. This is the beater bar, which contains the reed. I'm securing the beater bar to the loom with some sturdy string. The next step is to pull the warp threads through slots in the reed using the reed hook. As early as the Paleolithic era or Stone Age, humans have woven fabric. Because it's been around for so long, and because it's an abundant everyday item, fabric is something we often take for granted. As Americans especially, we have so many things, and rarely do we think about where they come from and how they are made. It is my goal as a visual artist and proponent of self-sustainability to someday create my own garment, starting with the fleece of a sheep. One major step to achieving this goal is to become literate in the art of loom weaving. The warp is tied to the front beam, and I must make sure the tension on the warp is evenly distributed. Once it feels right, I can secure the knots and cut off excess string. I can also remove the strings holding the beater bar in place. I've selected a purple weft, and I must wind it on a bobbin using a bobbin winder. I've woven in some strips of toilet paper which even out the warp strings, which had been clumped together while I was tying knots. I now place my bobbin in a boat shuttle and begin weaving a broken twill pattern. By stepping on a treadle, I lift the harnesses it is attached to. This creates a triangle-shaped shed. I pass the shuttle through the shed, secure my edge with one hand, and place the weft thread at a 35-degree angle. This is called the weaver's angle. I use the beater bar to gently put the weft thread in its place. The amount of time and energy that it takes to weave a length of fabric is absolutely worth the satisfaction of knowing you did it yourself.